Ryan's Midlife Crisis Journal, day 39. I think today I'm going to talk about, well, I don't think what we are in would be best described as a simulation as far as the universe. So, if I had to guess, I think that the world we're in has was created in a way. I don't know why. Obviously, it has to be created to exist, I guess. Well, one would think. But I'm unconvinced that we're living in a simulation within, as in like a simulation within a simulation and not base reality. Because we are using logic gleaned from inside this supposed simulation to make that claim. So here's the problem I see with it. Imagine a simulation is kind of like a video game. Imagine a character in a video game. What kind of logic might a character in a video game use to make claims about its own universe? So, for example, we're using it's an interesting thought experiment to do. I haven't followed through to think, it's tough to come up with what an NPC in a video game or character in a video game would come up with because of how limited their logic structure might be. I don't even know if the possibility that they're in a simulation come up because it's not possible within a video game for an NPC with certain programming to come up with a simulation within the game, or at least it's almost impossible. Someone with free thought, which free thought then would break the programming because they're not programmed to have free thought. But the thought, it never quite gets there, is that I don't think an NPC in a video game like one that we've conceived of would come up with it. Now, an obvious way to test this would be with advanced AI. The problem with AI is this language model, so it's learning from what humans have already said. So it's difficult to say what it would come up with on its own. But the idea is how would we come up with, if we're using the logic that, we're likely in a simulation because we can create simulations that it might be an illusion that we could create simulations like the one we have. We know that it's possible to create video games where you can immerse yourself, but that might be a programmed aspect of us to think that. So if we're in a simulation and we're subject to any kind of programming, I don't think would pass as evidence to say that, something we came up with, we can make claims about the universe that are not evidence-based, instead just logic-based. I guess you could say maybe it's evidence-based based on us coming up with video games, but still, it's not like we've come up with a simulation that is immersive enough to pass for reality. So I don't know. It's almost I feel like it's like an incompleteness theorem kind of thing. I have to follow this through a little bit more, but at the very least, if you're going to do the odds on it, the odds I don't think are like near certainty that we're not in a simulation. I think the odds of that being what's going on are much lower, just because we have to account for the possibility that a simulation is kind of impossible. But I guess there's also, now you have to be very clear on the definition of simulation. And whether or not, I guess, humans are best compared to as being, real consciousness versus programmed consciousness. And the fact that we haven't had, it appears, an AI yet to be indistinguishable from a human in terms of their consciousness and things like that is also more evidence. As long as that's true, the fact that we've been unable to create life spontaneously, not necessarily spontaneously, but, create life from, or replicate the beginning of life, given all we've also learned, the longer it takes for us to find evidence of life somewhere else or be able to simulate or like recreate how life might have began on Earth, the more likely it is that I think that breaks also this, something like the simulation argument. All right, so I'm thinking there's a lot of thoughts that are kind of jumbled. If there's a string there, hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that was worth putting out there. But I was trying to, it's a journal, trying to put things in writing that I haven't, trying to organize thoughts that I haven't necessarily tried to put out there before. So anyway, maybe I'll try again another day to see if I can clean that up a bit. But I have to think about that stuff a little bit more if that's the thing I really have like an interesting idea. Anyway, all right, day 39 in the books.